Well, I do not know how Miss 5250, crazy for justice, missed this juicy little tidbit here of scandal going on at City Hall back in August 2022. Mayor tells Fresno Council member to F off, but denies threats while making the apology. So this was about a pilot program that Dyer wanted to enroll, or did enroll, Fresno in, where the fucking bars could stay open and serve alcohol till 4 a.m. I don't know what purpose that would serve. And did it include bars that do not even serve chips, that have no snacks, food available whatsoever to soak up any of that alcohol? Because that's how Goldstein started off. And now they have chips, at least. But I don't believe that the Howling Wolf serves any type of food whatsoever. Not from a vending machine, not, anything, not free popcorn, nothing, to soak up that alcohol. And then people, buses aren't running at 4 a.m. Probably still get an Uber. But, why expand those hours? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It doesn't seem like it's benefiting a whole lot of people. How much money can they make in that extra 2 hours? I guess it's depending on their markup. I don't know. Anyway, that's off the point. But I am doing a FOIA to get all the emails on all of that. The withdrawal, everything. We'll get to the bottom of that shit. So, but let's come back to the, unrest at City Hall. This guy, Bredefield, is the only other Democrat on the council, Republican on the council, and Dyer is a Republican mayor. So these two, out of the 8 that form our city council and city leadership, the gang of 8, the corrupt gang of 8, is what I'm dubbing them now, stolen from Gary, calling the Arias, Esparza, Maxwell, and Soria the gang of 4. The corrupt gang of 4. Now, they say that Bredefield also has done his fair share of public name-calling. And that's the only example they came up with was Gang of 4, where Arias called Bredefield council member Chicken Little. And that probably has something to do with not only his height, but Chicken Little is overreacting. Well, that is subjective, right? I would rather, regardless. That's irregardless. Dyer has had major disruption in his cabinet, in his handpicked people. He has, just told the only other Republican on the council to F off. He apparently apologized to him, but, we're not getting that directly from our mayor. No, we're getting it from his ex-chief of staff and current city communication director, who's also ex-mainstream news media here in Fresno. Isn't that handy? So it says, after Dyer and Bredfield had their heated conversation over the phone, in which the mayor raised his voice, they did eventually calm down, and the mayor apologized for raising his voice, Rose said. For the mayor and his perspective, he told Gary that he is working hard to move the city forward, and that constant attacks in the media and on social media are just a distraction. The phone call ended after 17 minutes, and they were calm. I don't understand that. I don't understand any of that. First of all, was Miss Rose present for the entirety of this conversation? Did Miss Rose hear the apology? Why is the communication director apologizing for a personal conversation between Bredfield and the mayor about city business? I don't understand why any of that would not be of interest to the public, because it involves city business. In a statement to the Bee, Bredfield called the conversation disturbing. I had a disturbing phone conversation that was initiated by the mayor earlier this week regarding my opposition. I will not share the details of the conversation, but I let the mayor know very clearly that I will not be intimidated by any threats, and I will never back down. So, that doesn't say that the mayor did threaten him. But later on, he neither confirms nor denies that the mayor threatened him. So if you're not willing to deny it, by default, you are confirming it. Because if he did not threaten Bredfield in any way, then why would Bredfield be talking about intimidation and backing down and not wanting to give us details about, whatever negotiations went back and forth? Did Dyer offer Bredfield something, or did Dyer, threatened to withdraw support for something Bredfield was trying to do? Or, Bredfield says, I will oppose any policy that is destructive to the citizens of Fresno, and SB 930 is exactly that. Just the basics of it is I don't see the point. My job is to represent my constituents to the best of my ability and to improve Fresno, and I will not be deterred in any way or by anyone from accomplishing this. Well, Gary, you have been on that city council for a very long time. I am not saying that you did not oppose or vote against any of these rezoning things that allowed all of these liquor stores, the density of liquor stores in South Fresno compared to North Fresno. Are these individual zoning, votes? I don't understand how it all works. But, my councilman won't freaking talk to me or answer any questions. So, we just throw them out there into the void and see what happens. So, 2 City Hall sources told the Bee that Bredeford told them about the conversation, and it was implied the mayor suggested he and Bredeford meet outside, and that a physical altercation may occur. A third source said Dyer told him the conversation got nasty, but learned secondhand of an alleged challenge to a fight. Again, this is not a denial. Dyer did not deny to this third source of the alleged challenge to a fight. Now, Rose flatly denied that the mayor ever made such a threat, but she also, we don't know where she was during their conversation. The mayor would never jeopardize his ethics or who he is by threatening any physical violence. That's very odd, because he had for 20 years one of the only jobs where physical violence can be initiated on a citizen with zero consequences. So that did not happen at all, she says. The mayor would never jeopardize his ethics or who he is by threatening any physical violence. That just doesn't fit. And for her to say that it's speculation, she's speculating here, he wouldn't do that. So it didn't happen at all. The mayor, and anyone who knows the mayor, knows that he is not a violent man, and he would not threaten to fight someone. That is blatantly false. Well, I don't know the guy personally, but he looks like steroid raging. He is a gym rat. We know that. And, most of us don't know the mayor. All we know is the narrative that is shoved down our throats in print. Who is this? Is this the Bee? Yeah, this is the Bee. Now the Bee has, cooperated with Fresno Police Department against citizens critical of actions carried out by the Fresno Police Department and notoriously corrupt Fresno politics. That is no secret at all. And I do not see one iota that Mayor Jerry Dyer is worried about the hint of impropriety or the hint of scandal or the hint of corruption, because he's freaking drenched in it. He's slathered in it. It permeates from his being, in my opinion. Okay, because here we go. Bredeford neither confirm or deny, just like Jerry Dyer would neither confirm or deny he had sex with a 16-year-old girl while a Fresno police officer, on duty or off. That is not an ethical thing to do. The mayor did ask Gary to talk in person versus over the phone, Rose said, but he never threatened to harm him. Well, why do they need to talk in person then? Why does he need to be able to reach out and physically touch the man. You can video chat so you can see each other. You can talk over the phone. As you know, for many years, that was a perfectly normal and accepted form of communication. So when you want to get somebody alone in a room, that, can be considered intimidating or threatening. Yeah. Hell yeah. Especially considering the size difference and the power difference. Jerry Dyer absolutely 100% has members of the Fresno Police Department that are 100% loyal to him. Not to you, not to me, not to the city of Fresno, to Jerry Dyer. Either blindly loyal to him or terrified of him. Terrified to cross him. So, am I still recording? I guess I am. Okay. So let's see. The conversation is the latest closed-door confrontation to spill out of Fresno's City Hall. And they go on to Esparza, the former city manager, also Spears, or H. Spees. He was hand-appointed by Dyer for the homeless task thing, and he resigned as well. There was like three top people. I think someone in human resources also left. I'm not sure, but I think it was someone that he did not appoint, but left during, after his administration took over. And then there's the BS with the district attorney, who, the city attorney, gets to review all of the internal affairs stuff and gets to, to see if and recommend if we are just going to support this city employee who, may or may not be visibly violating rights, policy, or law on body-worn camera video that they are, keeping from the public. Doug Sloan had an employment contract. So when your employment contract isn't, if say it was a 3-year contract, 2.5 years in, if nobody is mentioning or saying anything about your contract, does it go month to month when the 3 years are up? That you just that it was just to ensure a certain amount of time there, and then after the 3 years were expired, you were fine going month to month, or by not renegotiating the contract and setting up a specific employment term where if he's fired, they have to keep paying him. Then no one's talking about my contract that's almost up for renewal or almost about to go month to month. Nobody is questioning if I am comfortable with the new administration, if I would be more comfortable with a new contract. Am I happy? Am I confident going month to month? This is a pretty big deal. And Dyer never weighed in on Sloan leaving. Dyer never weighed in on these handpicked people leaving. Except, all sunshine and rainbows. Mutual, mutually agreeable or whatever, when, we know damn well that ain't true. I think when closed session ends in someone storming out, taking vacation, and then resigning, that says a whole hell of a lot about what's going on in that city hall. Because if the city attorney is being bullied, ignored, recommendations are, just the technicality that, okay, yeah, he gave us recommendations, so city attorney's ass is covered, but we don't have to listen to him as elected officials. We don't have to listen to the recommendations of the city attorney, and he can't rat us out because he has attorney-client privilege. Now, I think that's a huge freaking problem right there. A big problem. Because you don't have to, the city attorney doesn't have to be specific about exactly what recommendations are not being followed, but you establish city attorney should know better than anyone how to prosecute a freaking case. And I would hope that he would be able to figure out a way to comply with his oath and not violate attorney-client privilege, but still not violate his oath to the Constitution of the United States, which is of the people, by the people, and for the people. And deliberately and methodically crafted to define and limit the scope of government. And our current government bears very, very little resemblance to what the Founding Fathers had in mind. 100%. They would be rolling over in their graves. So this, is all, it's not much. Brianna Bakari, it is not very much. Where my mind goes? What would have happened if he did? What would have happened if Dyer did throw a punch or did threaten a council member? A council member threatened an attorney. That didn't go anywhere. A high-ranking long-term lieutenant in the Fresno Police Department ended up dead on Jerry Dyer's street the same day he got fired for doing something that Jerry Dyer himself had done. And then he's dead. Same day. But this doesn't come up. This never came up. Oh, not mainstream. I didn't hear any of it on ABC, CBS, or NBC, or Fox. Maybe I'm wrong. Please let me know if I am misspeaking. Now, I did see a lot of stuff on the indies and, some smaller publications, and UC Berkeley did something. There's chiefdyer.com. We did the most damaging thing, I think, was the rapist murderer billboard. And the mayor for all, chickening out of that, cowarding out of that, was not, questioned by the media whatsoever. There is no proof of any of these death threats or I am unclear as to what they were afraid of. That Jerry Dyer's mere presence would incite violence. Were they afraid of a riot of like Jerry Dyer supporters against Janz supporters? Or was the fear for Jerry Dyer's safety himself? Like the brand new metal detectors in City Hall. Jerry Dyer has not spent, I don't think, one single day of his professional career in an office that didn't have a metal detector outside of it first. Right? He's been a cop all his life. They've got, restricted, police station is restricted except for that, lobby. You pass that lobby, you've gone through a metal detector and you've been searched. So you can't use a, you don't have a gun. You can't shoot a cop inside a police station. But we have had, but that could have happened very easily because some guy that wasn't happy in court just waltzed into a police building, I guess through an employee entrance, and attacked a cop and got himself dead, even though he didn't have a gun. He got himself shot. So, that metal detector, I don't see the point. It's just an expense and a Fourth Amendment violation, because you must voluntarily give up your civil rights not only to enter a courthouse or a federal law enforcement building, because you can enter a federal post office without going through a metal detector. Feds aren't worried about that. They are worried about the people dispensing justice. Imagine that. Postal workers that go postal, right? They don't have metal detectors for the citizens to go through, because the people to be afraid of are behind the counter. It's just insane. This country is insane. I just don't understand it. So, there we go, people. that is how they spin it. If I was Gary Bredefield, I would not want to be in any room alone with Mayor Jerry Dyer. Not in a million years. Okay, this is the laughable part. This is so freaking laughable. Rose said that was the first time the mayor used profanity in 30 years. And he's typically very careful not to use profanity. The closest he comes to using profanity is using the abbreviation BS, she said. I call BS on that. I call BS on that big time. Even people that don't normally cuss slip. 30 years and he hasn't slipped. And she says right here, that was the first time the mayor used profanity in 30 years. And he's typically very careful not to use profanity. Well, if he hasn't used it in 30 years, why does he even have to be careful not to use it? It's not a habit, right? Why would she have to say that after she just told us it's the first time he used it in 30 years? That should be enough said. And he's typically very careful not to use profanity. Just killed what she just said, or contradicted what she just said. The closest he comes to using profanity is using the abbreviation BS. Okay, Miss Rose, how much time have you spent with him in the last 30 years? Did you do your due diligence? Did you independently call a few people that are close to Jerry Dyer and say how often have you heard Jerry Dyer cuss? How often does Jerry Dyer use profanity? Yeah. And the F word, is different than damn, or is shit profanity? BS, bullshit, that is not profanity. That's an actual word, right?
Yeah. It's in the dictionary.
Does it mean bull excrement? Or does it mean, well, then it probably is profanity. But he says BS. Well, shit is a word. And that's also can be considered profanity. Racial slurs, are they profanity?
The harmful comes, I guess, the racial side.
Now, she doesn't explain, why he doesn't use profanity. Is it unprofessional? Is that why you don't use profanity? Well, Jerry Dyer, do you frown on or discipline police officers for using profanity in the course of their duty serving the public? Use of profanity is not professional while on duty. So is that policy enforced? 30 years, was it enforced by the chief of police? Is it being enforced? Is it being enforced by the mayor? Has the mayor instructed the chief of police to put out a memo reminding Fresno police officers that profanity is unprofessional and a violation of their oath of office? And, we will be enforcing this policy. and setting up, 3 strikes, you're out warning system, or, disciplinary system.
And a big ass fine. No.
Well, I mean, I think that's only fair. It's unprofessional. He's denying that he's using these words. Hasn't in 30 years. Not even a slip. But Fresno police officers can talk the way they talk to poor people, to South Fresno, to anybody they think can't afford a lawyer, or if they have a criminal record already, they don't get any respect. You don't have to. They don't have to be treated like a normal citizen. They've forfeited that right because they're a criminal. You got to read between the lines and ask the questions. This is ridiculous. This is spin doctored. It's homogenized. And it's insulting.
To a lot of people.
I mean, why does Jerry Dyer want to expand it? Jerry Dyer is a Republican. The only other Republican doesn't want it. How does Jerry Dyer think that getting Bredfield on board is going to sway all the Democrats? Or are they already on board? Then he wouldn't need Bredfield. None of it makes sense, right? None of it makes any fucking sense.
Did he get Bredfield to come to their side of terms?
Well, he would have to offer him something, right? In order to threaten or intimidate, Dyer would be trying to get Gary to go with the flow, go with the program, right?
Turn a blind eye, huh?
But again, if Bredfield's the only opposition, if Dyer already has all the Democrats, he don't need Bredfield. What is it? What does anybody care what Bredfield thinks? He will be the one nay vote, and it will pass, and they will, get their little whatever. So that's the confusing part to me. The highlight is the 2 City Hall sources. The third source that told Dyer that he threatened to fight him, and a former member of, was it 47? Was it 47? I don't know, whatever news station.
Corn Howard?
Well, no, not Corn Hogard, the Sontaya Rose. She was
Channel
almost
30.
Was she Channel 30? So that was ABC. She's a reporter. And now she is a public servant. Why is she not asking the right questions? Why is she not asking? Or obvious. It's pretty obvious why we wouldn't want to extend those hours from 2 to 4, right? But what is the pro side of that argument? You know, that could have been summarized in, you know, one line. I mean, she could have summarized why Mayor Dyer is behind it. And was the talk of negotiation to try to there's something else. The mayor has since reached out to Gary and asked him if they could talk and get things sorted out. We don't know how he reached out, via phone, via email, which would be verifiable via public records request. We could verify that Dyer is trying to work this out with him, and we do want to continue working with Gary. So again, Sontaya Rose is spitting hearsay unless she was CC'd, or, you know, has seen a sworn statement from the mayor that he did reach out to Gary and, you know, said these things. Well, ask if they could get things sorted out. That was what the mayor supposedly did. This next sentence, she says, is not clear that if this is her opinion, if this is what the mayor told her, you know, maybe not said directly to Gary, but the mayor told Rose that we do want to continue working with Gary. And who is we? Gary's the only other Republican. So we means either Jerry Dyer's people, his handpicked staff, mayor's staff, and committee members, because he has appointed a lot of committee members, and Gary's been taken off most of them. But I think that was, you know, more Esparza's doing. He blatantly said, well, you didn't vote the way we wanted you to vote on the budget, so that's why you got axed off that committee. So, you know, that's how they pick committee members. Are you going to play ball with us, or are you going to actually vote your conscience? Right? We can't have that. Let's get rid of you. You know, and it's saying that in an open city council meeting is, you know, blatantly corrupt, in my opinion. So that's about all I got to say about that, people. It is just mind-blowing how they are trying so desperately to control this narrative. And it's more about what they're not saying, and the way they do say certain things, that this just reeks of fake news to me. Fake news